providing a REST output on DDN. And it's a little different from RESTified endpoints for all the V2 users on the call. So these are like the top themes which we are targeting with REST output on DDN. That is the RFC on that link. I'll also share it in the chat. So please have a look and let us know any thoughts on any of the technical direction we are going with REST output on DDN. But there are like 4 major points which we want to kind of let the community know on how we are proceeding with REST output. First is auto generation of REST endpoints. So you bring in a model from any data source, and using the model configuration, we will provide REST routes for all those models. We are also adopting the JSON API specification. So our REST response data document structure, for example, and the URL structure would be JSON API compliant. Thirdly, high flexibility with strong type schema, and I'll show you what that means in a brief demo, which I will show in the rest of the call. And lastly, something which we are very excited about is that solving the high quality API client experience in REST. So giving you like a GraphQL-like client experience with REST, with features like autocomplete on deeply nested fields and type safety, which you enjoy with GraphQL, but not very feasible with REST APIs. So with that in mind, I would say here is the RFC, which I'll share the link here for you to, if you want to go along with me here. But when I mentioned JSON API spec, imagine that you have an articles model in the metadata. So you have your model definition where you have metadata constructs like filter, expression type, and then deep diving into it, you could probably see the different Boolean expression types which you can configure in your supergraph modeling framework. Now, all of that kind of auto-generates API routes for you. So this is what we meant by being JSON API compliant, is that this is a sample example. This is an example of how you would do nested relationship using keywords such as include, and able to make complex fetching such as these right now. And that's JSON API compliant and giving you the composability which you really enjoy with GraphQL. The point is that all you need to do is connect your data source, have Hasura create this model configuration, and just like you get a GraphQL API, which is highly composable, going forward, you will get REST endpoints as well. So to kind of give you more insight into how the user experience would look like when we release this in a few weeks or month time, we have created a mock server called JSON API experiments. You can go through the code here as well along with me. But what we have done here is kind of mimicked our supergraph modeling metadata in these TypeScript types. So just like we have, these are the Boolean expression types you will get when you introspect a database in Hasura. This mock server has those very similar interfaces like article filter expression, where these are the different options available for you. These are the fields you can filter on it. These are the fields you can sort on it. But here you can now see the flexibility we can provide is that you can decide which fields to sort on, which fields to filter on, which operators to expose. And we will auto-generate REST endpoints. The Hasura engine going forward will provide these kind of routes to different models with that sorting, filtering, and pagination capabilities, which is highly customizable. And the best part of all of this is that once you as the API producer have provided these like very simple configuration of how you want to interact with the API consumer and what you want to expose, we will provide open API specification. And as you can see, the OpenAPI specification has all those bells and whistles in it, such as operators and what can be filtered on and what can be sorted on. And once we have and this is what I meant by a strong typing and um, um, these points here around high flexibility with strong type schema, is that you get this flexibility and then you get a very detailed OpenAPI specification. And once we have that, we can start providing you GraphQL-like client experience. So let me show you a brief demo of how you would interact with REST APIs in DDN going forward. So in this demo, as I mentioned, this is a file where think of this as a supergraph modeling metadata, where you are defining the different configuration you want to be exposed as REST endpoints. This is what Hasura engine will expose by default. You don't need to write any code for it like you do in RESTified endpoints. And this is the client experience, as you can see. We are just using some TypeScript libraries out there to generate the client based on the OpenAPI schema. And
Rahul,
once
could
we
you
have,
zoom in just a little bit or make the text a little bit larger for us? Oh, sorry, this is a recording. My apologies. That's okay.
yes, I can show in the code after this demo a little bit and zoom out. But I just wanted to kind of show the autocomplete experience on the GraphQL client, GraphQL-ish type experience here. So as you can see, I'm able to get autocomplete on what fields are available to sort based on the OpenAPI specification. I'm also be able to get what are the different operators available to me for filtering. And it is giving me error hinting as well on VS Code or the text editor of your choice, such as this. So this is what we are planning. Let us know if this meets your need and what else would you like us to kind of think about as we are releasing this feature. Some points we are looking for feedback is our choice for JSON API specification as that data convention. And just the fact that now Hasura can give you auto-generated REST endpoints. Let us know how you think and any feedback you have on this. But this is the client experience I wanted to kind of show. And to Rob's point, I will just zoom in this a little bit by going here. So if I go to the client and within that I go here. So this is what I was showing in the demo, like very GraphQL-ish type, but the client experience here. And once you have this Open API with all the information, you can use a tool like, for example, Stainlessapi, which we've been exploring and partnering with, where you can like start drilling down into and get a very kind of intuitive and nice experience to work with REST APIs and export SDKs in the language of your choice. So think of it as like another way of consuming the supergraph in a way which is very native to how you work already.
This is really exciting. And you said that the RFC is where people can give us feedback. Is that correct?
RFC, yes, GitHub issue, like the PR request, provide any feedback, Discord. These are the two channels, please. And we are working on this right now, soon to be released. But thank you again, everyone.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Rahul.